Associate Professor Denugo.
Question 7, please.
Under the Sewerage and Drainage Act, companies have to obtain written approvals from PUB before they can discharge industrial use water or treat effluent into the sewers. Any discharge has to comply with stipulated quality requirements. PUB has a comprehensive program in place to tackle discharge which do not comply with quality requirements. This consists of online sensors to the public sewerage system for effective monitoring and early detection, periodic inspections of premises, as well as engagement of companies to comply with the quality requirements. These efforts complement the penalty framework that PUB has in place. While most companies abide by the quality requirements, PUB has prosecuted 119 companies since 2014 for illegal discharge of trade effluent into the sewers, where the discharge did not comply with stipulations. Of these, 21 companies are second-time offenders, and another 23 companies committed the offences more than 2 times. Repeat offenders will face harsher penalties and be subjected to more frequent inspections by PUB. PUB may also suspend or revoke the written approval granted to the company for the discharge of trade effluent into the sewers. For severe cases where the discharge contains toxic, dangerous, or hazardous substances, PUB will issue an immediate stop order notice to prevent the company from further discharging trade effluent into the public sewers. The order will be lifted only when the company has implemented remedial measures. We take a serious view of illegal discharge of trade effluent into our sewers. We will not hesitate to take enforcement action against companies that threaten the quality of water supply.
Associate Professor Denugo.
Thank you, SMS. I have 3 questions regarding the levers that PUB has to use against errant companies. The first is regarding repeat offenders with multiple occasions of doing this illegal discharge. There's a very popular bakery that was charged in 2014, 2016, 2017, and 2018. So does constant surveillance actually act as a deterrent for these companies? Even with, the companies don't seem to be caring for the reputational damage, even if the names are released into the public. So is constant surveillance a deterrent at all? And the second question is, when would approval to discharge the trade effluent be suspended or revoked for repeat offenders? So how many times and what kind of considerations does PUB have in revoking the approval? And the third one is regarding the fines. Are the fines adequate? Because under the law, I think offenders can be fined up to $100,000. But the fines for repeated offenders don't seem to exceed $20,000 so far as reported in the press. Thank you.
Okay, regarding the first question about repeat offenders with multiple offences, let me first say that written approvals for companies to discharge trade effluent into our public sewers currently has been given to about 5,000 premises or companies. And as I've said earlier, majority actually comply with the requirements under which they can discharge the trade effluent into the public sewers. But from time to time, there are some who do not comply. And PUB takes this very, very seriously. PUB manages about 3,500 kilometers of sewers. And of course, used water is a resource. And PUB needs to ensure that every drop of used water that goes into our water reclamation plant does not disrupt the water reclamation process. And of course, it also takes seriously the potential impact on the environment, as well as harm for instance, to the staff, managing the water reclamation plants. And therefore, stringent enforcement is carried out together with a suite of measures. So in the context of the 5,000 written approvals, as well as the fact that there are 3,500 kilometers of sewers, a suite of measures, as I've said, include online sensors for early detection and unannounced surveillance, on-site surveillance visits. So for offenders, we increase the on-site surveillance visits to as often as even twice a month, if need be. And some of them may be required to install their own online water quality monitoring sensors, for instance. So for some of these repeat offenders, we also engage them closely to try and ensure that these do not happen again, and it may happen for various reasons. Enhancement to the enforcement regime, the penalty regime, has also been made. So they are not just liable to fine of up to $50,000 or $100,000 if they discharge hazardous toxic substances into our public sewers, but they are also liable to imprisonment or both. The second question on, I think I've answered the second question, which relates to when written approval will be revoked. Yeah. Maybe let me repeat this again. So written approval will be revoked, for instance, when they actually discharge dangerous or hazardous toxic substance. First of all, we may issue immediate stop order so that they do not discharge dangerous toxic effluent. And then, if they are very egregious, we will revoke the written approval, which means that if they want to continue business, they will have to engage the services of a licensed toxic industrial waste collector.